to live your best life. We've got renowned celebrity nutritionist and author Kavita Devgan. She's been with us before. We absolutely love talking to her, and she shares and spills so many secrets. That's the best part. Today, she's going to share her secrets that can change your health. These are habits that can boost your immunity, empower, and give you an edge. So this is her latest book. It's called The Immunity Diet, where she has actually put so many tips, and we're going to go through some of them, and you're going to be like, wow, this is so simple. I think a lot of us can do it. Kavita Devgan has many avatars. She's an acclaimed nutritionist with 20 years of experience as a weight loss and a holistic health consultant, and has helped several hundreds of successful weight loss patients. She offers very practical, customized programs that deliver weight loss the right way via habit modification. So you'll even see here, she focuses a lot on habits and how do we do that to live the best life, to ensure long-term results and complete well-being. Welcome, Kavita. Excited to have you back on Sipping Thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you, Skirti. Always a pleasure.
So tell us why this book, because this is which one? Now you're sixth. I'm having a tough time keeping up now.
Now this is fifth. But hopefully sixth should be coming out soon. But this one is fifth. Yes.
So tell me why this book, because you've written on so many different topics, and why immunity?
So you know what, Sukirti, immunity and how to keep it optimum is the topic that I've been writing about for a long time now, because I've always found it important and interesting. So even before it became a buzzword, I have been writing about it. During the corona pandemic, like what we have all gone through for the last 2.5 years, somehow this word immunity became sort of a buzzword.
Yes.
People started talking about it, started asking questions about it, searching for it. The Google search for it went over the roof. Literally, the results for it also went over the roof. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was chasing it. Brands got into the bandwagon, everyone jumped on it. And then you had a new product being launched or rebranded every single day as an immunity booster. So that was how, it panned out. And everyone was talking about, for a change, weight loss took a second seat and immunity became the first front runner, which was good, because I personally feel that we need to focus on the right things. In fact, I also ended up giving almost 2 to 3 talks on immunity every week during that beginning peak time. Everyone wanted to know about it. Frankly, it was the same questions everywhere, I realized, because people were worried and were scared. They wanted information. Although there was a lot of information around, somehow people had this impression that they could, boost their immunity
in a day, in a week.
in a week with just one kada, or it could be a quick fix. They just wanted to boost it by hook or by crook because people were scared. I don't blame anyone. So that led to a lot of misinformation floating around. You also must have noticed. This whole topic became kind of very confusing, and quick fixes and promises were like floating around. And there were a lot of dubious claims, all around me. And frankly, I just felt that I needed to write about it a little bit more. So in addition to the regular articles that I was doing, I started compiling a book around that time. So that's how this book came about, because I wanted to put in black and white what works and what doesn't. And why what works. And actually, frankly, what is immunity? That is what I wanted.
That is my main question, because we are so confused.
There are too many myths. I just wanted to bust them.
Yeah.
So I did what I could. What I like to do, write a book. So this was a natural next book for me, frankly. So that's
so first, myth or truth? Can we really improve our diet? With diet, can we improve our immunity?
So for that, you need to understand immunity first. Immunity, it's a system. It's a very intelligent system that our body already has. So you can't build immunity. You are born with an innate immunity. In fact, the book explains what immunity is. And immunity is very simple. It's basically your ability to be able to withstand the stresses and the, whatever infections and diseases that the universe is throwing at you. Do you have the ability to fight that or not? There is an innate ability inside everyone. So to avoid imbalance and disease, you need to make sure that your immunity is strong. That's all you can do. You can't build your immunity. You're born with an immunity. Okay. So it's your body's ability to protect itself, which nature has already endowed us.
Now tell us, because again, because we hear eat this, eat that. Is there an absolute favorite superfood for immunity?
I'll tell you what, frankly, immunity is something that you need to work on a daily basis, literally. The way you work on your weight, the way you take your weight every day on the scale, which I usually request everyone not to, but people end up, the same way you need to work on your immunity every single day because of the toxic times that we live in. But unfortunately, we don't really have a thermometer that can measure the immunity. We don't have a blood test that can tell us what level our immunity is at. So our best bet is to figure out, are we feeling our best or not? And if we are not, then obviously there is something wrong. Are we falling sick very often? So you need to figure out whether you have an optimum immunity or not. And as far as improving the immunity with diet is concerned, it's not just diet alone. That's again another myth that I wanted to break, and which is why
you can't drink that nibu pani or amla pani or that mixed concoction in the morning.
Everything helps. Everything helps together.
Yeah,
everything helps. But you need to have, which is what I'm trying to explain. I have 3 sections in the book.
Yes.
One is diet, which is food, right? Because that is one part of how you build your immunity. Second is your lifestyle, equally important. You might be eating all the superfoods, but if your lifestyle is out of whack, your immunity is going to nosedive. Similarly, the less talked about is the mind matters, which is my most, which is closest to my heart because no one talks about it. No one actually asked me this question, but I thought I must put it in the book. So I have an entire chapter on how your mind matters are equally important. So you work on them. Then there are herbs which help. Of course, they help. They're not, quick fixes, but you need to include them in your diet. Then there are foods which help. Like you want to know superfoods, right? Which can help. There are definitely superfoods, and you must have seen in the book I've mentioned quite a few superfoods. Yes. If you want, I can just.
So tell me your personal favorite. What do you take, and what do you do to boost your?
So I'll tell you what I would like to talk about an underdog here.
Yes.
A food that not many people know about. It is the cheapest food that you can actually have to boost your immunity, and it's easily available. And a secret, which shouldn't be a secret because our grandmoms and our earlier ancestors had been using it, and it's barley.
Okay.
It's dissipated from our kitchens, and that has had very drastic effects on our health. I personally feel it needs to make a huge comeback. Why? I'll tell you, there is science behind it. Because when I researched, and that's when my eyes also opened, frankly, it contains a compound called beta-glucan, which is a particular kind of fiber, which is extremely potent antimicrobial and antioxidant. Its capabilities are extremely potent, and not many foods have this. So this food, if you include it as a cereal, as you do grain rotation in your diet, if you can include barley or, have barley water, it really actually helps boost immunity. So that is one food that I love and I like to tell everyone to somehow include in their diet. There's another reason for it. It also has a very difficult to find trace mineral, selenium. Not many foods have it.
Yeah.
And, during this whole discourse on immunity, you must have noticed vitamin C and D and zinc. And even selenium has been coming up a lot, that it is needed. It's a powerful immunity boosting mineral. So barley gives you those phytonutrients as well as selenium. So it's a wonderful grain to include. That's one. Let me also mention another one, which is again an underdog, which was used a lot earlier, but not anymore. And again, very easy for everyone to incorporate. You've heard of, I don't know if you use in your kitchen, kalonji seeds, onion seeds?
Yes.
Not many people do, because I think it's not a very regular spice that is used today, which is again very sad, because again, kalonji, which is called onion seeds, actually in English. And usually I think it's used in the non-vegetarian dishes. So the vegetarian people tend not to use it.
Do we use it in the meete aam ki achar? No, that is also,
Yes.
that is why, yes.
Yes, right. But now, how many people make that achar at home? Na? The bazaar achars don't have these kalonjis and everything. So in fact, during the peak COVID time, I asked people to have kalonji oil, cold pressed oil.
Okay.
But on a regular basis, you don't really need to, maybe you can have kalonji oil also, but otherwise, if you start using the seeds everywhere, maybe in your tadkas, put it in your dals, at least do like 1 teaspoon somehow in the day, for the entire household. I'm saying it's very potent. You need very little. It's a wonderful immunity booster because again, it has a compound. These are not, I'm not talking out of my hat. These are all proven scientific facts. It has a compound called thymoquinoin, which again, it's a tongue twister. You can't even pronounce it, but it is an anti-inflammatory compound. It makes sure that the respiratory issues that could be building up because of pollution, because of infection, they don't stay.
So now we've already delved right deep into it. So what are those 5 easy tips? We've got 2 superfoods, but you said it's just beyond food. It's not that. There are 3 different parts. So tell us, what are those 5 easy things that all of us could do on a daily basis or that will help us boost our immunity?
Okay. So, I mean, of course, read the book because there's like a lot of tips there and you can cherry pick what you want. You don't have to do everything. So don't get scared. But you can cherry pick the stuff that you want to do, okay? But if I have to pick 5, which I also do actually, let me maybe mention those. Eat raw garlic every morning.
Now, people are very worried about that because of the smell of the thing, that it will leave you smelling garlicky and it will be all in your body, the smell.
It doesn't, really it doesn't. Frankly, trust me, it's just in the mind. And the benefits, even if it does, I'm saying, I say it doesn't, but even if it does, I'm saying the benefits of just having 2 raw garlic every morning outweigh every single.
Can you have a garlic capsule or no, raw garlic?
So I'm such a food, person, frankly. I honestly would, if you just can't, then maybe that, but I will not vouch for it.
Just 2 cloves of raw garlic and have it every morning.
2 cloves of raw garlic. And trust me, even if you've never had them, it'll just take you a week to get used to them. And
do you have to chew it or can you just swallow it?
You can just swallow it. I'll tell you how to have it. The way to do it is that you take 2 pods, just, peel them, crush them a little, leave them to air, for about 2-3 minutes while you do something else in the morning, right? And then the first thing in the morning with water, you just gulp them down.
Okay.
That's all you need to do. And besides boosting your immunity, which is very important, it's going to do so much more. It's going to keep your blood pressure stable. It's going to make sure that your cholesterol levels, stay in the normal range. And it's going to make sure that no inflammation builds in your body. It's literally like if there's, which is why I mentioned it first. If there's one thing you want to do this for me. Awesome. I tell everyone that.
And now number 2?
Practice deep breathing.
Yes, this was very interesting because
there's an entire chapter on it. I'm just going to mention it here, but this is one chapter I feel everyone must read because I was not aware of it before I started researching for them. I mean, I knew you need to breathe right and it's important, but the depth of it, how important it is, when I became aware of it, my mind was boggled. So I put it all in the chapter. Very, very important. I also mentioned how to do it right. So just read the chapter and you'll know how to do the deep breathing right. Very important. That's the second thing everyone must do. Again, very easy.
And people will ask, in yoga, there's a lot of deep breathing that is taught. Would that also work, or is there a very specific technique?
Of course that works. Of course that works. The whole point is to oxygenate your body, right? So how you do it, there are different techniques. So just do it, which is why yoga helps, right? Because it takes care of your breathing so beautifully. So those who do it, make sure that, there's enough oxygen reaching everywhere and not just lungs.
Fantastic. Now, number 3.
It comes from what I was mentioning about barley. I believe in grain rotation extremely strongly. So barley is not the only grain which is great for us. There are a lot of other grains which help. So do grain rotation. The way, this is something I've written about in an earlier book also, Ultimate Grandmother Hacks, that you need to rotate everything. You need to eat variety. I mean, that's the golden rule of eating right. You need to eat variety. You need to eat different colors. You need to eat different kinds of textures and everything. But most people have been talking about it only in terms of fruits and vegetables. Eat different color fruits, eat different color vegetables, eat seasonal, but no one talks about it in terms of grains. And it's equally important in terms of grains. You need to do grain rotation. Don't just stick to 1 or 2 grains that you like or are used to. Include a few more grains. There are so many to choose from. Just read. So many to choose from. And all of them can be made very delicious. So just do grain rotation. Try to eat different grains, through the week. That will help boost your immunity excessively.
Oh, awesome. And number 4?
Again, the underdogs. We keep talking about nuts all the time. Of course, they help. All of them help. Walnuts, pistachios, almonds, everything helps. Seeds, we need to talk about a little bit more. So I feel if somehow you can incorporate 1 tablespoon of seeds every day in your diet.
Any particular one like sesame, pumpkin, or
rotation? Again.
Rotate the seeds also.
Yes, please rotate. Every food has something different, unique going for it, and different taste. Why should you get bored of just doing one?
So
just
1 tablespoon or
mix them
teaspoon?
and have 1 tablespoon.
Tablespoon.
Yeah, you need 1 tablespoon. You'll get good fats. You'll get multiple nutrients that our body, is missing, that are missing in our diet these days. So you'll get it through that tablespoon. If you can't stomach it like that, mix it up with your granola, add it to your porridge, oats, add it to your dal. It's the easiest way to just have it, or just snack on it. I just love to, those.
Yeah, I love sunflower and pumpkin, but I think I will start adding others.
Fix the time.
Yes.
Fix the time, because otherwise you'll just have it maybe once or twice a week, and that's not good enough. Try and do 1 tablespoon every single day. Fix the time. I personally feel whatever is your hunger time, just try and do, make sure that you have that tablespoon of seeds at that point of time. It'll help cut your hunger at that time, and you won't eat any crap at that time, and you'll get the nutrients that you need.
And your 5th and last big tip.
Okay. So this is actually from the Mind Matters section. And you must read this chapter to understand why I'm saying this, because I detail the scientific explanation behind it. There is clear science behind why this actually helps boost your immunity, a connection that not many people make, except probably the monks. And they've been talking about it for a long time. Say a prayer before every meal. It doesn't have to be a long-winded prayer, just gratitude. And trust me, you have to read this chapter. It's my favorite chapter in the book, more than any other food, because I talk about food all the time. But these things that we don't take seriously actually help a lot. Just give me a second.
Not a problem.
I'll just put this on. Yeah. So that is my 5th point.
No, very nice and very easily doable. In the lifestyle section also, I think what was interesting in this book, you also mentioned a very interesting and lesser known steps like oil pulling. Can you elaborate? How do these also help us in boosting our immunity?
So there are a lot of chapters in the lifestyle section. Frankly, even I have forgotten, it's been so long since that book. I have done, if I just read from the lifestyle section, which is actually the second chapter, it has get some sun, sleep well, exercise your immunity, practice fasting, eat fresh, listen to your gut. And the last chapter in this is oil pulling that you're talking about. Yeah. So this is not from the modern science. This I've taken from the Ayurvedic practices. And this is something I got introduced to. I was also not aware. I mean, I knew the term and the phrase, but I didn't really know, and I'd never done it before. I went to a place, Ayurvedic place down south, and I was introduced to it there. And my stay there for about a week, I did it every day. And I realized how much of a game changer this can be.
And in 1 week, you were able to make out the difference.
I realized it was really helping. I was feeling good. It made a difference to my energy levels. Of course, the other stuff was helping as well. But doing this first thing in the morning, I realized is something that I must do always. And of course, I've not proven true to that promise to myself. I do skip it. But again, it's a very, very helpful thing that a person can do. Why it helps, again, detailed in the book. But what it does is that first thing, of course, your teeth. I mean, they look like you've just come back from the dentist after the cleaning. So that's one wonderful, benefit. Oral hygiene, which is extremely important, because now we know there's research which tells us that, there are germs and toxins in the mouth which could be related to your heart health as well. So that, of course, it takes care of beautifully. Also boosts the immune system, because basically what Ayurveda believes is that on your tongue, there are points that are connected to all the organs in the body.
Okay.
So they believe in that. So if you are, gargling with pressure, that helps the different organs of the body. So that is the science behind it. Now, again, modern science has not done any research, so I don't really know whether they believe it or not. But if you just look at how it has been proven by time, it's a time-tested thing. There are certain things which are proven by research, and there are certain things that are proven by time. And I take both equally importantly. So I personally feel this is a very important thing that one can do.
And any particular oil, or any oil will do?
Ayurveda usually says sesame, but now most of the Ayurvedic doctors also say that you can do it with coconut oil also, because some people don't like sesame. So either sesame or coconut oil, both work beautifully. And there's a way to do it.
Yeah,
so you need to
so
learn.
We have to follow those steps. I was going to ask you that, because there is a way.
Yeah.
But also, you talk a lot in this book about mindfulness, and it's woven throughout the book.
Yeah.
And how important, I know we've talked about breathing when we've kind of delved into the fact that immunity is not about only food and exercise, but it's also about mental health. How important is mindfulness in improving quality of life, particularly in this COVID-ridden world?
I think it's probably the most important. There is, in every book that I've written, there has been a mind section right from the first book. So I've always considered it important for every aspect of our health, whether it is weight loss, whether it is, anything that we are talking about. I've considered mind matters as very, very important. And while researching this book and writing this book, I realized that for immunity, it's even more important. So, which is why, I'll just read out the chapters for you. I have done a whole lot of, this took me most research, because this is not my strength area, right? So this I had to read up a lot and figure out what works. So there is a chapter on cook mindfully. There is that breathe right chapter that we were talking about. Then there is eat stress-free. Trust me.
Because stress is the biggest thing that pulls down your immunity.
I could have just done a chapter on simple stress, but there's an entire chapter on how you must and why you must eat stress-free. When you eat in, why you must do not do any stress. That is so important. So there's enough to do an entire chapter. It's that important a factor. So again, this is a very interesting chapter that I feel everyone must read. And then there is this tap your mind energy. Again, mind-boggling how it works. Your thoughts and everything. Become a cautious optimist. How optimism can actually boost your immunity. And that's something people have been talking about, but not taken so seriously, frankly. And of course, the most important and most obvious chapter, put a lid on stress. So, so all these chapters, frankly, are very, very, very different. Even if you can't, there'll be an interesting read, is what I'm trying to say. Not many people, for example, might know that chronic stress harms our immune system's efficiency, and it frankly just undermines the ability of our immune warriors. I explain in the book the immune warriors and what are the immune warriors in very simple terms, so everyone will understand. It's a very complicated system. So that took me a lot of time to make it very, very simplified. So immune warriors, they just the stress can completely mar their ability to work. And we can become sitting duck for infections.
That's what they say, that if you don't get the mind body right, it's like you're not going to be able to.
So this is where your breathing exercises can come into play. They can detoxify your body. They can get rid of the negative effects of stress, and so that your cells, they can do the function that they're supposed to do, frankly. There is one aspect is boosting your immunity. The second, even more aspect is to let the immunity do the job it is supposed to do efficiently and not cut down its immunity. So you have to work on both, which is where mind matters come in very, very important.
Now, I know you've shared a lot of immunoboosters. You've mentioned more than 50. What are your favorite ones?
So there are some people who might not want to read the whole book at the same time. So probably, there are tools in between and there are recipes and stuff also. But this section I did so that anyone who doesn't really have the time to read the book right away, at least can start, just reading these immune boosters. So there are 15 of them. 50 of them, sorry.
Yes.
Lots
of them.
Lots of them, and very easy stuff, Like, for example, this immunity booster 3 I could use, I could probably read that. So munching on fresh jamuns during summer season was a given earlier. Not so much anymore, unfortunately. But it's time to begin snacking on them again, as there is a good amount of vitamin C and other antioxidants in this fruit, which can help stimulate the production of white blood cells and boost our immune system. So this is one immunity booster, because jamun I wanted to talk about. There is this whole go nuts and seeds section, by the way, which mentioned what some seed does what for you and what nut does what for you. Breakfast, I think everyone knows. I can skip that. Okay, this one I can read, the immunity booster 18, because again, this connection not many people make, Sukirti, the connection between dehydration and low immunity. So now dehydration is very often the reason for lowered immunity, and of course a myriad of other health problems. So stay hydrated. This can boost your immune health immensely. Why? Because water actually helps the body produce lymph, which carries the white blood cells and other immune system cells through the body. So if there's not enough water in the body, the very basic function that they transport will get affected very negatively. So begin your day with water, keep sipping enough through the day, make sure that you have enough of water every single day. So that's a very simple immunity boosting tip. Do we have time for one or two more?
One more. Let's do one more.
Let's do one more. I'm trying to find a lifestyle one. Okay, maybe from the mind section, okay? Practice compassion. Again, I don't think not many people would get this connection. It is directly connected to improve our immune system and to stimulate the pro-social networks in the brain and to reduce loneliness.
Yes.
And all of this actually helps boost immunity.
Very nice, because I think you've put together it very well, especially focusing on 3 different systems. Any last things you would like to tell the readers as we close for today?
Do not wait for something bad to happen. Please do not wait for any disease to happen before you start thinking of taking care of your health. Trust me, your health is too important for you to just leave it to chance. We all know that. We've all lost people one way or the other. And it's been a sad time, but your health and so your immunity is in your hand. I'm telling you, it is in your hand. But it's not a one-day job. It's not a one superfood job. It's not a quick fix. It's not something anyone else can do for you. No one else can boost your immunity. So if something is promising that it can, please take it with a pinch of salt. The only way to do it, the way it is with weight loss, like I keep saying always, is that you have to build it up step by step. So you have to lose it step by step, the weight. Immunity you have to build step by step, and it has to be an everyday job. You have to work on it every single day. You don't have to do everything every single day. Please don't get scared. But like maybe today you had the kalonji seeds, tomorrow you had the barley. You should just have to be aware of what is good for you and your immunity, since we're talking about immunity today, and you have to keep practicing them. It's very, very important.
Well, Kavita, I'd like to close with gratitude to you and gratitude from our viewers for sharing all these wonderful tips. As always, you're so generous with your knowledge. So thank you once again for being on Sipping Thoughts.
Most welcome. Always, always a pleasure. Any questions anyone has on FB, they can leave their comments and I'll definitely go back and answer them.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Bye-bye.